Welcome to Cosmic Diaries for the week of June 26, 2017 through to July 3rd, 2017. Well, pretty much the July 4th weekend. And this is your astrologer, Priya Kale. I am trying something new. It's been a while since I recorded an audio or a video. As you may know, if you've been alive in these times, I'm certainly not above the astrology. And life has been changing a lot for me in the best possible way. I have a new website up finally, which is still a work in progress, as you can see. But I'm going to try and do these weekly audios once a week, so you can check in with the weekly astrology every Monday or Tuesday. I think I'm going to start from Tuesday, post it every Tuesday. But this way I can check in with you guys, give you updates, as well as be more consistent with the astrology. With the way things are changing on my end, it's been hard to keep up with the daily writing on the blog, although I have been writing for the new moon and full moon reports, which I send out to subscribers, and that's the subscription service which covers astrology for about 2 weeks at a time. As I develop the website, I do plan to have more sections for members, so do consider signing up. Your subscriptions to help support the site, and I am very appreciative of your support. Alright, with all of that said, it is Monday, 26th of June, as I record this evening, and the moon is currently in Leo. Venus is in Taurus, the sun, we're just moving past the Cancer new moon, which was exact on the 23rd of June. New moons, as you may know by now, are a time for new beginnings, for initiating things. And with the new moon in Cancer, first you need to look at where you have Cancer in your natal chart, or then even as per your solar chart, which is if you are a Cancer, then this is a very personal new cycle for you, and you have a new moon generally once a year in a sign, per sign. So this is your personal start for the coming year. But for no matter what sign you are, you have Cancer somewhere in your chart, and depending on where Cancer falls in your natal chart, that's the area of your life you're making a fresh new start in, and this is a rebirth. There were aspects taking place around the new moon. Venus was trine Pluto at the time, and Mars just completed a square to Jupiter in Libra. Jupiter, of course, has been in Libra since about September last year. This has been asking us to find balance in definitely in the area of your life ruled by Libra, but it's teaching you the lessons of balance. Now, with as Mars squares Jupiter at the time of the new moon, Venus trine Pluto, Cancer new moon, nothing happens in a vacuum. Nothing exists in a vacuum, and the planets as well. This is why astrology even works. We experience things in waves, and the planets at most give us a sense of focus on which way the tides are moving, on which way the current is moving, so we can navigate our way through. Especially now, as we move forward from this Cancer new moon, as I mentioned, Mars is already in Cancer and leading the alignment of planets. The Sun is in Cancer, Mercury is in Cancer, Venus is currently in Taurus. But now, as the Sun and Mercury follow the footsteps of Mars, this is a continuation of the process. This is a continuing wave of the process. And from the new moon to the full moon, we are completing a cycle. The full moon will bring you the culmination of the cycle. And this full moon is also makes the conjunction is conjunct Pluto within a degree. So it's a very powerful full moon, which takes place at, I believe, 17 degrees of Capricorn. So if you have planets at 17 degrees of Capricorn, or any of the cardinal signs at about middle of the cardinal signs, you're going to feel this more profoundly and more personally. Not that you wouldn't otherwise, but definitely if you have planets there. So the full moon will bring a culmination of what we're beginning at the time of the new moon. And this week, as the planets move along, they will be making oppositions to Pluto. So this week, today it's the 26th of June, so on the 27th of June, tomorrow, Mercury will square Jupiter and then trine Neptune. And then on the 28th of June, Mercury conjuncts Mars. And then on the 29th of June, Mercury opposes Pluto. On the 2nd of July, Mars opposes Pluto. And then finally, on the 4th of July, Venus enters Gemini. I mean, these are just the major aspects that are coming up this week. There's, of course, the moon, which the moon will be making aspects through the week. But if we look at what's happening with the planets, there's a sense that choices need to be made, and most importantly, it's understanding that again that we are in this Cancer new moon cycle, and this is a process. So the best you can do now is go with the flow of situations and be fluid and flexible with what's going on. Uh, with Cancer, think of it this way: you don't. It's a water sign, so you don't know how far the ripples of something will go. So it's also important for you to be very conscious of the choices you're making. With Mercury nearing a conjunction to Mars on the 28th of June, people are feeling sensitive. It's important for you to watch your words, and the more you can calm your mind, the more you can silence your mind. I've been saying this a lot this past year, and I'm only saying this because I've learned this the hard way. Meditation is so necessary in the times we live in right now. Neptune has recently stationed retrograde, and we have an incredible opportunity now to find a connection with that inner space and with the inner source and with the silence within. Because yes, we're talking about astrology, but it's not just an intellectual thing. We're looking at the energy. We're looking at how the energy is flowing very really in your life. So it's really about getting out of your head and getting in touch with your subtler energetic body and finding balance there. The more you can calm the mind, the more you can calm the waves and find clarity or find a clear sense of reflection in the water. So I know I'm speaking metaphorically, but hopefully that will give you a sense of understanding how important this is. Because Cancer relates with our sense of security and our emotions. So if you're feeling insecure and if you're feeling emotional, then you're likely not going to make the best choices because you're going to make choices in fear rather than in what you feel most passionately about or what you want or what you need. And there is every suggestion that everything you want and need you can have. But with the oppositions to Pluto coming up, first Mercury opposes Pluto on the 29th of June, and then Mars opposes Pluto on the 2nd of July. So this is, there's a sense of having to cut the cord with something. But that need not be a painful thing. As painful as it sounds, it need not be a painful thing as much as you're willing to surrender. Yes, Mercury and Mars are in Cancer, so it's emotional, it feels emotional, but it could just mean a release of emotional baggage where you realize you don't have to hold on to something. If you find yourself caught up in a power struggle, let go, let it go, let it go. It's about flowing. You don't need to cling to the rocks. It doesn't need to be difficult. Also, when we talk of cutting the cord, yes, we're cutting the cord, and maybe that's this very deep, latent sense of separation that causes pain that we all carry. But cutting the cord also means new life being born. So even if there's a sense of having to let go of something, trust that, trust the ebb and flow of life, trust that what's real is not going to leave you and you can't really hold on to the past. It's kind of gone. Cancer does relate to the past, so there may be, nostalgia and past memories coming to the surface, which can be overwhelming. But again, whether it's pain or pleasure, you have to release it so you can make room for the fresh flow of energy that's entering your world. And this is a flow of energy. Cancer is a water sign. Sun is in Cancer. So it's like trying to, you can't you can only prevent a flow for so long. You can't hold back the river. You can't push the river. So pay attention to what's going on in your life. Really, it all comes back to how balanced you can be internally. That and that comes through meditation, and then you can have the clarity you need to make choices and navigate this climate. And this is the last week of Venus in Taurus. So Venus loves being in Taurus. Venus is at home in Taurus. So there's a sense of being able to ground yourself in what's important and what's valuable, whether Venus relates with love and relationships as well as your money, and again, most importantly, your values. Venus in Taurus is a reminder that you don't need to possess anything because Taurus is the sign of the earth, Venus is the creative principle. So you're learning that you have all the resources you need, whether it's money, time, talent, creativity, whatever it is that you need to make more of. You already have the resources you need to make more of what you need. And it's about starting to appreciate all that you've been given. When it comes to relationships, yeah, there are changes taking place, and so as well as in financial situations. But it all comes back to that part about learning to surrender to the changes that are unfolding and not trying to hold on to the past or the way things have been, for better or for worse. Trusting that your experiences have taught you something and now you're moving forward towards a new chapter in your life. At the end of the week, Venus does enters Gemini on the 4th of July, as well as Mercury squares Uranus on that day. And then in the coming week, the Sun will follow Mercury and Mars, making a trine to Neptune, square to Jupiter, and then of course we're leading up to the full moon on the 9th. So I'll have more to say about that next week. But as you flow through this week, I'll just say that, as you flow through this week, let go, let it be easy. You don't need to know everything right now, and you'll never know it all. So, but trust that you have the information you need to make the choices you need to know for now, and then the rest you will learn in the fullness of time. Another, one last thing I will say is that if you don't know, it's better to just accept that rather than try to control a situation that you know little about. With the oppositions to Pluto, uh, the reason I'm pausing is because I ended up moving my ephemeris to another page and I was wondering what happened to the aspects. But anyway, as Mercury and Mars oppose Pluto on the 29th of June and the 2nd of July, yeah, things are heated up and there is a lot of intensity, but you are moving stuck energy. And really, you're breaking through conditioning and family conditioning and patterning to recognize what is important to you and what you value, whether it's in love, whether it's in your relationships, whether it's financially, and recognizing your potential. Cancer also relates with the nourishment we receive. So you think of this as you're moving past your parents' expectations of you, you're moving past the world's expectations of you, you're moving past your own expectations of yourself to recognize what the true depth of your potential. So don't hold back, but do be kind with yourself and with others. And trust the universe knows what you need. So surrender to that knowing. All right, I'll have more to say about next week. For now, take care of yourselves and enjoy your 4th of July weekend, whether or not you're celebrating. Oh, and if you enjoyed this segment, do sign up, do contribute to the Patreon link as I put it up, and email me, let me know, leave comments, whatever. But I do want your feedback because if you enjoyed this, then that gives me more incentive to keep going. All right, thank you guys. Thank you so much. Be well, and I will catch you again soon.